Today is November 16th. The farmer's market this morning went really well. I was really happy with it. Started at 9. I had everything set up and ready to go by 8:45. The first 30-40 minutes were really slow and I was starting to question if it was worth my time. But man, it picked up and it was really nice. I didn't completely sell out, but it was really close to a sellout, so I'm very happy with that. And now I kind of gauge it for next time a bit better. So my mom showed up the last probably hour and she helped clean up because I had to get to a gig. I had to play a show over at Beef and Board, so I had to book it out of there. And now I'm donning my farm hat again, heading out to the farm. We'll get chores done. At this point, I don't know how much more daylight I'll have after chores, but we'll see if I can get to something. It actually feels pretty good out. It's really nice to see the sun back there. Today, I'm going to move the pigs again. Probably should have moved them a couple days ago. It's a little muddy out there, but grass is still there. So I'm gonna close that section off, open up a new section for them. So this is a section I'm going to section off and get them out. They tore it up more than I wanted, but there's still some grass in there. So this is a new section I'm giving them here. I need another insulated post. I did grab some standards from a friend a couple weeks ago probably at this point, but I don't have the little insulators to put on them. So I think I'm just gonna put a T-post here in the corner and run some wire that way just to fence this off. It's nice doing this because the fence has to be off to move everything, but I just fed the pigs so they're distracted. They don't really test the fence much, but still do get zapped every now and then. And the new section is in. I actually like having that T-post better than the little insulated post. Just holds up better, but as far as moving them, the tinier ones are going to be easier. But this is kind of the layout I'm looking at, especially for summer when I do start rotating the pigs. So maybe this is something that I turn into a more permanent structure versus just tying it off like this. We'll see how it works out, whatever's easiest. I did shrink down their lane a little bit because they don't need that much room, but I do want them to have enough room where they can run and pass each other easily without worrying about touching a fence. So these guys are good and they've got a nice new section to explore. Now that the pigs are all done, start working on the chickens. We'll start out here. Still need to work on this coop. Next week, they have some cold temperatures predicted with maybe some snow. I can't imagine anything crazy snow-wise, but we've got to get on that while it's still semi-nice out. Looks like one didn't quite roll down. A lot of the straws started to fill up the front, so I just need to get that out now the chickens are used to this. 2 eggs. The chickens have really slowed up. I have 200 birds and I'm getting just under a dozen a day. It's pretty slow. I'd say about 25% of my birds are done molting at this point, but some are still molting. And then the others are just too young to even start laying. So that's why I'm not really getting many eggs. Even when they're done molting, they're still done laying because the days are so short that they're just not gonna lay much. So I don't mind the chickens taking a break through the end of the year. They've worked hard, they deserve it. And I wanna give them that time to molt and kind of recuperate and just take some time off. So starting in January, I'd probably put a light on them just as long as everyone's done molting at that point. They should be. Up next, we have the chicks. Let's see how they're doing. The guys on the right are kind of chirping, so they probably need something. So they still have food and water, so they're all right. And then these guys still have food and water. This little chick here, I've been babying it. It takes about 15 minutes a day. But look, it actually got his feet up under itself, so there's some improvement. We'll see how it goes. I've been cracking an egg every day and then putting some grain with it and spiking its water with some B12. So fingers crossed it's gonna make a recovery. We'll see, but I'm gonna start working on them. Chicks are done. Let's start working on the mobile coops out here. I've been having to move this net every day because the chickens are so spread out across the garden and they're going at a diagonal, so it's kind of awkward. So I got to pick this up, move it a little bit. I'm gonna move these back ones first then move the net, and then move the 2 chicken coops on the other side. Got the chickens moved. These guys are pretty much at the end. I don't want to put them in that tall stuff yet. I'm going to leave that tall for the critters for the wintertime, critters and bugs. What I'm going to do is take these coops and run them back up some of these rows that I wasn't able to hit, and then these other coops kind of slowly meet. These 2 will probably go back that way, and the one that's way far off will probably just run it straight back out. So eventually they'll all get lined up, but I do want to keep the chickens in the garden for as long as possible, even though it is quite annoying moving this net through the garden. What a beautiful sunset, beautiful day. It's supposed to be nice this weekend, and then that chance of snow comes next week. Really starts dropping off, I think, on Wednesday, so that'll really be a change. We've been having it pretty mild though, so can't complain. So you can see a good chunk of birds like this buff Orpington here. A couple of the other girls are done molting, but there's some in the far back there that are still looking patchy, but a lot of them are starting to look pretty good. The Americanas are pretty much done. They were the first ones to quit laying on me. Looks like the buff Orpingtons are done as far as molting. There's a couple weird Orpington mixes in the back that are a little ugly, but other than that, they're looking all pretty good. But yeah, it's just the light right now. They're not laying too much, but y'all can take your time off. Well earned. I did get 1 egg from that coop, and it's a tiny Americana egg. It's actually, I have 2 birds in there that were hatched this spring that just started laying. So this is an Americana buff mix. That's why the egg's kind of tiny, and that's why I'm actually getting eggs, is because they are younger birds. My old girls, they are done laying. Well, I got a total of a whopping 8 eggs today. So yeah, the chickens have really dropped off. I have about 120, 130 birds that are currently capable of laying eggs, and only got 8. So springtime, I will have a little over 200 birds laying, so I will be eating a lot of eggs then. Last thing I have to do chore-wise today is mix up some grain and eggs for that little chick that can't walk. And then I'm done. I hate that it gets dark so early. Can't really work on anything else, so probably call it a day there. The sunset just keeps getting prettier. Man, you can't even see it in the camera though, but it is pink. Beautiful. This is what I'm giving that chick every day. Good bit of grain, egg, and then I go ahead and leave the shell in there, crush it up a little bit, good calcium. I don't cook the egg, I keep it raw. That way it doesn't kill any nutrients in there. The chick loves it. Also, when it kind of starts mixing with the grain, she's really liking that too. So she gets a good mix of everything, tons of vitamins and just nutrients in that egg yolk. So really glad that she's eating it well, and just a tiny, tiny bit of improvement. Fingers still crossed on this one. I'm actually really impressed. She is starting to stand up on her own better. A couple days ago she couldn't do that, so hopefully what I'm doing is helping her out. I put that board in there because she likes leaning up against it, keep her a little warmer. Also, the other chickens were bothering her, so that kind of gives her a bit of relief. But look at that, she is able to sit upright. Oh, that's nice to see. So good job, chickie. As of late, I actually have been having halfway decent luck with rehabilitating chickens with issues, so let's keep the streak going. y'all, today is November 19th. I just went and picked up the pig food from the feed mill, and if you're interested, that is what's in it. I did pick up one bag of bedding, so I have that as well, but I was really happy with the price. Came up to $2.80, so not bad. This is 500 pounds of food here, so this is going to last the pigs a really long time. It has been really nice weather-wise the past couple days. High 60s, almost 70, but not quite. Just a light breeze. It feels really good outside. Unfortunately, that's gonna change pretty quickly. So Wednesday, gonna get some heavy wind. Temps are gonna be falling all day, and then Thursday we're not getting out of 30s. So I'm not looking forward to that. That's when we'll get that potential for some snow, but it's November. The chicken coops fit perfectly through these little archways we made for the beans and whatnot in the garden, so that worked out really well. I thought I'd have to take them all apart, but I was sizing them up. There's actually some nice gap there. I had someone comment probably a couple of videos ago at this point saying that the pigs would probably like the radishes. I actually had a video clip all recorded, but it was so windy I had to cut it from the video. So hopefully this one turns out. It's kind of breezy, but I did give the pigs a radish. I gave them about 4 or 5, and they really didn't care for them, surprisingly. So maybe they've had plenty of other treats, so they don't want to eat the greens. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and feed some of the rejects to the chickens because they at least like them. I just looked at the weather, and unfortunately it looks like the cold weather is coming in sooner than later, so this is my last nice day. So I'm not going to get the plastic on today. I accidentally got 4 instead of 6, and I want a little heavier duty plastic. But before I can even do the plastic, I have to finish tacking all the chicken wire back on, and I really don't want to have to do this when it's 30 degrees out, so I'm gonna get this done today. Still have this side and the back side I've already done, that corner, and all the way up to here, so about halfway through. I've got to turn the fence off to get to the back of that coop, so I've just got to trust the pigs for a little while. Just a little bit before 6, about 5:50. I'm starting to run out of light, but I only have to staple a little bit on the back, so easily can get it done. Stapling is all done on that coop, which is a great feeling. So now it is ready for plastic whenever get a chance to do that. I do want to move the pigs, so I might feed them real quick or give them some sort of treat just to distract them because they are hanging out in the far back. So I'm gonna do that while the fence is off, and probably call it a day. I might plug in some heat lamps for the chicks. I unplugged those because it's been so nice lately. That floodlight gets me out there pretty far. Need to pound in a T-post, run some string and whatnot, and move them over a little bit. The pigs have already found the new section and they're loving it. I do need one more insulator, so I'm gonna grab that real quick. Then the pigs will be done. They were distracted by a little snack earlier, but it went really quick. It maybe lasted 30 seconds, but they've been good with the line and not messing with it. It's pretty hard to see in this lighting, but it only took 3 days for the pigs to tear this section up and make it look nearly like the previous section. So they're definitely being more destructive with it. So I'm just gonna have to move them a little more often. They don't have too much more space though. It looks like 1, 2, maybe 2.5, 3 more moves. And then after that, I'm just gonna pin them up front. And lastly, let's close in the chickens out here in the garden. Howdy y'all, today is November 20th. It's actually a little nicer out than what I thought it would be. It is very breezy, but the sun's out and it's not terribly cold. It's almost 50 degrees. This morning it was like a completely different day though. It was very rainy, windy, and teeth chattering cold. At least I was freezing. It doesn't take much for that to happen though. So anyways, today I'm getting on chores, and this pig food that a friend so graciously donated. Thank you so much again. Just finished this bag off. The pigs loved it. So we'll start on the pig food that I picked up yesterday. Also here in maybe 45 minutes or so, I have a friend swinging by to drop something pretty cool off. So more on that here in a little bit. Got a grain bin, which is super exciting. It needs a little bit of work. There's some spots that are rusted out, but for the most part, it's in not half bad shape. So I need some new parts, do a little bit of welding down around here, but I'm super excited for this. I kind of hinted at it, not specifically saying it, but when we were trenching this line and I said I was going to put something here. It's probably where I'm going to wind up putting a concrete pad and then putting this grain bin on. So thank you so much to my friend for offering it and driving it down here. I really appreciate it. It's going to come in handy for sure, especially because I've been running the feed barn more and more since I keep acquiring more animals. But this is going to be a fun project to work on. I'm not exactly sure how much this holds, 1.5 tons maybe, I don't know, 2 tons. It's, I mean, when you compare it to me, that's pretty good size, so I'm not exactly sure, but I'd probably only ever need 1 ton at a time anyway at this point, so this is just perfect size for this farm. Once again, thank you so much to my friend. It is so cold out, you guys. The temperature has really dropped. It is not much fun. It's super breezy, super cold. I can see a front moving in out there. It's getting a little dark, so I'm gonna plug in heat lamps, make sure everything's working, and hopefully wrap up everything outside here. So the first hard freeze is definitely hitting tonight for the season. So anything flower-wise that has lived is definitely not gonna make it through tonight. I think the low's getting down to 29. It's just the wind that completely zaps any chance of heat, which makes it kind of tough. So anyways, chickens are okay in low temp, so it's not like animal abuse out there. They will be fine. I'm not worried about them in the slightest. It's just their comfort level. I'd like them to be a little more comfortable than 29 degrees for the entire winter, but it does get above freezing tomorrow. So I mean, everything gets above freezing, which is when I typically don't worry about them. It's when it stays below freezing or really close to it for days at a time that I start to get concerned. And then at that point, I'd have the chickens up well before then. So there's still a little bit of work to do on that coop, the last coop. And then I actually do have to build one more coop, believe it or not. I just think it's going to be too tight because I have 120 chickens out on pasture right now. 100 with the chicks and then another 15 in the other coop. So it's just going to be a bit tight, and I don't want the chickens cramped either. So this weekend is the plan where I'm going to build the final chicken coop, and then after that I'll put all the chickens up for the winter, unless the weather looks like it's going to turn back up. We'll see how it works out. They could be wrong. It's still a ways out, so fingers crossed the weather holds out and I keep the chickens out longer. If not, no big deal, I'll put them up. When my friend came and dropped off that grain bin, he also dropped off some more straw bales, which is super nice to have because I can use those in a pinch to insulate anything I need. Plus, for the pigs, I still have some left over, which is nice. So I have plenty of straw bales to do anything that I need to this winter with them, which is really nice. And especially on those mobile coops, what I have done in the past is just take straw bales and stack them around just to keep the wind off and the heat in, and that works really nice. So chickens are going to be set no matter what. I've got pretty much all of my hoses drained. I do want to undo this sink though so nothing pops. It shouldn't be too bad. Howdy, y'all. Today is November 21st. we have our first snow for the season. So it's really pretty. We did get a nice little dusting. It's sticking a little more than I thought it would, but you can still see the grass and everything out there. So it's really pretty, but I'm glad that it'll be melting very soon. It's gonna be warming up from here on out. It's currently 36 in the barn. I think outside it's about 31, 32. It's right there where it's about to start changing over to more of a slushy rain mix versus snow. So it's going to be warming up to about 37-ish. And then tomorrow I think we're going to be up in the 40s again. So this will all be gone. So I'm just enjoying it while it's here. We'll get the pigs done first. Looks like they're out running around. Pigs are done, as well as the west coop. No frozen water, so that's good. It's pretty protected from the wind, so it shouldn't be too bad. But we'll go ahead and get the chicks done next. Well, I will say this is a first. There were a couple chickens that for whatever reason didn't go on the roost last night, so I can't say that for sure, but when I went out, they weren't on the roost, and they had a little bit of snow on them. And this girl, her eyes were kind of foamy, so I don't know what's up with that. I've never seen that before, but just because that didn't look real good, brought her in. I've got the heat lamp on. It gets really toasty, so I'm just gonna leave her in here. She can warm up and do her thing. I don't know what's going on with the eyes. They're not doing it anymore. Very odd. But anyways, I'm gonna keep on with chores. I'm gonna let her hang out in here for a while. Really, the temperature itself isn't that bad out. It's just the wind is what makes it not so much fun. There's no frozen water or anything, so it's not that cold, but the wind does take it out of you. So I just wanna make sure the chickens are smart enough to go up on the roost and get out of the wind. Farm chores are all done, and this chicken here is warming up real good. This girl here is one of my oldest chickens on the farm. She was from my original flock of 16 Buff Orpingtons back in 2021, October 2021. So she's an old lady. Doubt she's laying eggs, or at least many these days. And I think I'm gonna just leave her in the barn overnight. I'll turn the heater off, obviously, but the barn stays nice and toasty, at least well above freezing, so I'm not too worried about her. Keep her a little warmer, no wind. She's got some food, some water. I'll probably move the eggs so she doesn't poop all over them or break them. I might go ahead and set her up on that straw pile actually after I turn the heat off, but she's doing good now. Done at the farm. I've got that one chicken all set up. The temp says it is currently 32 out. By 11 p.m. it's going to be about 36 or 37. So like I said, it'll at least be warming up over the evening hours. It does drop a little bit right before morning. Howdy, out today is November 22nd. No wind today, just a very light breeze. The snow is pretty much gone. It's in the 40s. It feels so much better today compared to yesterday. The chickens are all down. I did move them today, so they're in a nice new spot. And they're doing good now. Even the chicken in the barn's still acting normal. I did run the chickens over the carrots, which we kind of forgot about, but the chickens enjoyed the tops of them. But there's some pretty big carrots in there. These things are massive. One did get halfway pulled up, but we just forgot about them, so we had a few still left over out here. This girl in here is doing just fine. You can see I got her food and water on the ground there. I actually have the heater on, and it's nice and toasty, so she's been hanging out right there. But she's been eating, drinking, pooping all over everything. Luckily she's been on the ground, so at least it's not on the shelves or anywhere, but she's been acting fine. No more weird eyes. I haven't noticed any runny nose or anything, but I'm still going to keep her in here for a little while longer, at least 3 days minimum. And as long as she's still on the up and up, I'll put her back out, weather permitting. If it's a super cold night or windy or anything, I'll leave her in here. But she's doing great. She follows me around. She's just easygoing chicken.